Now, let's get some of the finest on the stage and to discuss the art of new age storytelling. Topic, the power of creativity and influence. The apt brand storytelling would like to call on stage Sujit Patil, Vice President and Head Corporate Brand and Communications, Godrej Industry Limited, joined by Mr. Gurpreet Singh, co-founder and COO, One Digital Entertainment, Siddhartha Roy, COO, Hungama, Digital Media, Anand Pathak, Director Sales and Marketing, netmeds.com, Sharan Saikumar, Creative Producer, Arre, Ashok Cherian, Head Marketing and Revenue, Applause Entertainment. Can we have a big round of applause for this amazing panel here? And may I request Sujit Patil to continue?
Tell us who's Sujit Patil first.
You?
There's a problem, nobody knows each other, so.
Well, sir, over to you.
All right, so that was exactly the case with me too. By the way, my name is Sujit Patil, and don't confuse with us. She's definitely not Sujit Patil. But then today, I think I met this amazing bunch of people, and we're the best of friends today, right, guys? I mean, 30, 40 minutes of meeting first time in our lives, and I think my takeaway from today's conference is 5 good friends, and we've already decided when to meet and stuff. We'll endeavor to be on time and finish on time. So we have some ground rules that we've already discussed. I won't waste much time on that. I'm going to talk about for another 30 seconds or maybe 45 seconds on the 7 insights that we came out with in terms of the creative storytelling and what works, and simple no-nonsense insights which I'm going to share with you. The first one is the thirst for entertainment on demand. So mind the word on demand is increasing. Do you agree? Let's do a poll. How many of you agree on demand? Only 10% of you agree. So on demand there's a threat for you. It's a serious challenge. All right, the second one, we found that consumers of all age groups are moving to digital platforms. How many of you agree? Now that's peer pressure. Somebody else has also raised their hands, but that's fine. The third one that we found was we've entered a new era of creative storytelling. Storytelling was always there since Ramayana, right? I mean, but creative storytelling. How many of you agree with that? Awesome, we're getting more support now. And another one was it's very important to produce something remarkable. Instead of just talking to your audiences, what's more important is engaging and creating an experience for the audiences. How many of you agree? Would be more effective for your brands, right? Fantastic. 3 more insights, no nonsense insights, not to be taught in any of the B schools. This is created right here. Brands would pay big bucks for a story that would influence their brands and propel their audiences to make a purchase. How many of you from the client side here? Brand side? Oh, this is an agency gig, I guess. but that's a fact. I'm from the brand side, and I'll pay them if there's sale happening from my storytelling, which my colleagues do for me. Another insight, video continues to grow as a big media for telling stories, and customer-centric storytelling and user-generated content will help increase engagement. So these are the 7 insights. Having said that, if these are the 7 insights, I think we've got the best people here to talk about and validate, or maybe just give examples and case studies of validating these 7 hypotheses which you laid. They're no nonsense, they're true, but we'll have more examples. So to set the debate right, this is not going to be an Arnab type. We know that Republic TV is a part of it, but then, they'll get their time. One question which is common to every one of them. Each one will take about 2 minutes to lay out their views in terms of what do they feel about this question. So here goes the question. Give us your examples and your experience in brand storytelling, not just storytelling, brand storytelling. We feel that brands are struggling to tell stories. Creativity is very important. And another part of the question is, what do you feel is the role of creators and influencers in terms of the digital economy where content is king? So anyone can jump at it.
Couple of, as we talked about, hi, good evening, everyone. I know you guys have been at this and people have not got up to pick up tea as well. But to just share with you some of the insights and thoughts that we've had as a company, because we do delve in a lot of short form content as well as series as well. So one of the key realization in all of this was that the what's in it for me, for the consumer, is very, very important. They come, they try and sample a show which is basically one episode, 2 episodes, at max 3 episodes. But if you're not able to create the hook in terms of telling the right stories into them, what ends up happening is there's a very small set of consumers who actually complete a series. So this entire myth of 10 episodes, 22 minutes each, fundamentally doesn't play true to the digital medium. So very clearly what started as I do something on broadcast, I bring that into the digital media. Then there was the entire phase which was all about web series being created, and again, large formats were coming out of the broadcast medium because that was where content was getting created as such, to now storytelling, which is a lot more what's in it for the user, which means that you can, if you believe that there is a story that you can tell in 5 episodes of 8 minutes each, there is content that can be taken back to the consumer. So it's not about, I need to write a 10 episodic, 22-minute show, which that is, that needs to be told to the user. So that's one. The second big is India is not about Bollywood or Hindi alone. There's content that we as a company are extensively creating in the regional space. We've obviously learned it from short form music. I'm sure Gurpreet will talk about the fact how regional content has done. Those cultures, those local nuances need to be brought into the storytelling, because that's what the consumer actually relates to. So it's not about taking a piece of content, saying I want to dub it in 5 languages and bring that. There would be certain stories that have a dub that can be done because you want to tell those local language stories as well. But a lot of content, I believe, in the coming years to come and months to come, will start getting extremely, extremely localized. And that's the beauty of digital, where it is a 1:1. So you can target a set of users, tell them that story, and hopefully the effective return on investment for both the destination and the creator gets played out here.
Fantastic. Any more views?
So, as Applause, which is a content studio making premium drama, my take on this would be, if we say that OTT platforms are growing, that there are a lot of people who are watching OTT content today, then the big question is, if it's SWOT and it's behind a paywall, where is the ad? The most used button, most clicked button on the internet today is the skip button. So if that's where the action is, then if somebody's watched Netflix or Hotstar or MX all night, then what ad has he seen? So, and if he's not able to see an ad there, which means then the most logical place where the ad has to be served out is through some smart, again the keywords are smart, seamless integration in the content, where you're not sort of standing out and making yourself stick out as a sore thumb for the brand, and at the same time you're not really changing the flow of that story or how the content is supposed to flow. And this is the balance that we as creators need to create, and we are open to it. We look forward to it, and I think as the market matures, as advertisers and brand managers become more visionaries than people who want to justify their last marketing campaign, we will see more of this happen, and we are open and most happy to do this.
Lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think the last point on maturity of advertisers is really important. We've been trying to do, or we've been actually doing at Arre, we've been doing branded content now for I think 4 years. So we were the first people to launch fiction shows with only brands, no commissioning model, just pure brands. And the toughest thing to do is to explain to a brand manager that, bhai, aapka jo product hai na, if agar hero aake bolega ki, wow, this is what I use, Palo Alto Networks. What do you use? So it's not content. So now that lens is changing. That we've come a long way. 4 years is
Very true.
a long time. People are getting much more smarter. Their brides would come to us and say that, like, there will be no attention drawn to my brand except as genuine human conversation. Like, fit it into the lives of your characters, and if you do that successfully, you're doing branded
Authenticity is
content.
the key.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're doing advertising on content which is fundamentally not compatible. You can't do it unless you slip it into character, scene, plot, motivation, everything.
Awesome. Singh Saab, what's your view? I mean, from the angle of influencers.
I mean, we are not much into creating long series, long form content. We are primarily in the business of building influencers, building their reach, and then monetizing their reach by working with brands. I think one of a very unique story which we did 5 years back is when one of our clients, Ranvijay, he was getting married. We packaged his wedding, real life wedding, into a web series called Hitched and sold it to Jack and Jones. So technically what we were doing, because as a fans, people want to know what's happening when when someone like Ranvijay is getting married. Is he just going house hunting, moving to new house, just like normal people? So we captured the entire thing, 12 episodes, invited people to come and attend his bachelor's party. But it was one of, I think, very unique story for us where it's not fiction, but it's reality packaged with a little bit of fiction and brands coming on. Jack and Jones was the title sponsor. So other than his wedding and his Sangeet, Ranvijay, Raghu, Rajiv, everyone was wearing only Jack and Jones.
They say I'm wearing Jack and Jones.
Sorry, yeah, they were wearing Jack and Jones and they were running contests across
Does
the
he
stores.
really wear it now also, or?
I don't know about what's his current
Let's go to the client side, NetMeds, and let's hear it from him in terms of what's been your experience of effective creative brand storytelling.
Right, so see, I have spent most of my life in e-commerce, and what works in e-commerce is that we are not in storytelling business, but rather selling business. And what we have seen as the industry in e-commerce, that we know we got into the e-commerce in 2015, and what we have seen in the e-commerce industry in India, right from the rise of Flipkart or Amazon of the world, what key driver factor for the consumers are, कि ये कितना में मिलता है. That means like, what is the deal that I'm going to get it? So we tried multiple times telling the story in the short form, the longest form never worked, and we are into the selling online medicine. So we doorstep delivery your medicines. So if I remember correctly, the first TVC that we launched way back in 2015 was a beautiful emotional connect of father and daughter story, where a daughter is getting married and she's going to a new home, and father is pretty old, and he's really worried that he's going to miss a daughter, and daughter is going to her home and she's even missing. But what end of the story was that even she went out of the home, from there she was able to deliver medicine through NetMeds to the parents. So the distant caring, that is one of the category that we are currently latching on. We see that there is a huge scope, and people from across metro, the migration of the medicine, which we do the doorstep delivery across the country. So for us, the story is like, it's more functional, transactional, and what is the problem that we are solving? Because again, we are in the very niche category. It's 4 years back, you couldn't buy medicine online, and this is something that we are empowering user that, be wherever, and you can still care for your parents and relatives and the loved ones. Distance doesn't matter, because here we are for you.
Awesome.
It's very
See how
depressing to
beautifully
hear, but
put and integrated his content into his speech and about his company. I mean, that's really the authentic.
But how does ROI work for a functional transaction when it comes to storytelling? How do you so if you're gunning for functional transaction, where does storytelling fit into this? Or it doesn't work at all? Is your experience?
So see, if you see the landscape of e-commerce in our country so far, there is a rise of video consumptions all-time high. And thanks to the geo internet that it has penetrated across the country, it's not only the metro is a key driver factor for OTT rise or video consumptions, it's happening across. So the primary medium that we tell our story to our end consumer is mostly through the ATL, and that's where, as of now, we have served 90% of the pin code of our country. That means we have served 90%.
I think the question is, how do you recognize the ROI? I think the answer could be, I'm just attempting on
So,
your...
no, I'm just coming,
Awesome.
giving a short question, a long answer. And I know we are running crunch
This
of
is
time.
content, it has to be crisp. I will be fired. All right, go ahead.
So yeah, see, the ROI point of view, mostly we built brand on TV and print, and digital for us was always a performance metrics. That's where, because digital
That's
comes,
where.
digital comes and everything is linked and clicked and attributed, so you know what's happening.
But if you just add a kind of a call to action for that, it can increase your footfalls, it can increase your inquiry. That's what she wanted to
So
hear.
see, we tried OTT platform, so far on YouTube heavily. OTT, yes, we tried. During World Cup on Hotstar on India, Pakistan cricket, or
Didn't work.
But the thing is that,
Death.
it's a video on demand that you're watching cricket and you will definitely not like to purchase at that time. But we try.
All right, we'll come back to you because this is going to be your individual question, which is how do you break the clutter and what gives you the maximum ROI. Let's shift gears and let's go on to pertinent question to what their critical acclaim has been. So let's move to Mr. Hungama. I think one of the most beautiful conversations we had in the waiting room. And I think the question which I'm going to pose to him, Siddharth, is Siddharth, how important is it to have the 4 parameters like the visuals, the narrative, the authenticity, and the most important part, to bring out the emotions in your content? So can you throw some light on that?
So one of the biggest things that we do a lot differently is, for us, we don't make content for AFP. So I have no pressure. When I'm building a piece of content, I'm actually building it to tell a story. It could be a 30-second story, it could be a 2-minute story, it could be a 15-minute story, but it's being told as a story. Now, as a business model, each of us would have different formats of business models in which the brand plays a certain role. Okay? If we believe that brand can fit into that role and we have an ability to bring that out to the brand and the brand participates, then what we bring to the table, which the brand wants, is an effective KPI on what's going to be your effective reach and what's going to be the effective, what they call a share of voice, SOV for the brand within that structure. So it goes back to the same matrix. That fundamental matrix doesn't change. The question is, when content is being created, how do you validate that layer of your business model to brands? And are you in a position to bring brands to the table if you've got a story that lends to what the brand aspires to do? So that piece is to be kept in mind, in play. Or at the end of the day, then you are just another agency that gets a brand brief and then creates content for the brand, and brand is already
But
doing
you
that.
can create content for a brand and not be and not make an ad, even if it's AFP.
Absolutely.
Right? So therein lies the challenge, because it's great to go content first, and everybody should go content first. But brands are really demanding. I'm pretty sure you as a brand manager are demanding. You're going to come and tell me that weave a story around Godrej. Okay, it's important, right? Now, how do you weave a story around Godrej that is content, but also Godrej?
So I'll give you another very interesting example. I'm doing something right now literally for the festivals. I won't name the brand over here, but this is music. So we create a lot of content for music. It comes from film and non-film as a play. So we're creating music for the festival season. The festival season's coming, and this is not devotional. This is hardcore mainstream music for the festivals. There's a brand, we are creating whichever which way. We are creating it. We've got millions and millions and hundreds of millions of users that are going to come and consume, and that's the historic that I can bring to the brand. So there's a specific brand in a specific category called jewelry that is coming to participate on that content. That content creation and story is already pre-structured. Now, he's coming because of 2 values. One is I can deliver the core KPI, which is the larger KPI that we end up delivering, that X hundreds of millions of views will come to the content. I will then take the brand and try and put that into the right fitment. But that's where, for me, my brand journey stops. Okay, so that's one way to deal with something like this.
I mean, I think while the storytelling is obviously critical, but there's other way to look at it. I mean, for some people like us, it's also who is telling that story. I know while everyone is chasing 100 million views.
And Gurpreet, that was your next question.
Yeah.
The influencer bit.
The
And you can club
influencer.
this answer
I mean,
along with the question.
I mean, when we are working with influencer, Prajakta, who was on the panel earlier right now, who is India's biggest female digital creator in the country, it has taken us 4 years, not with the focus of how do we integrate brands into our content. But today, if she has 4.5 million subscribers, she has 1.6 million Instagram followers out there. It's not just the numbers, it's the impact that she creates on that audience. So while you might integrate brand in a generic content and get 50 million views, but like she asked, what is it translating into? What is the performance? Probably he didn't get the results on an India-Pakistan match because that audience, it didn't create an impact on that audience about the ad being served.
Absolutely. Yeah,
But when she, who has huge fan following, not only her, but her fictional characters. She plays a character of a brother, mom, dad, and right now we're talking about brand endorsement deals not only for her, but her fictional characters who will be endorsing different brands. I mean, today she is brand ambassador. When I'm saying brand ambassador, I'm not talking about transactional video deals. I mean, she charges more than possibly some of the title sponsorship of some of the web series to integrate her one brand into one video. And she is one of the big grooming brands is moving away from Bollywood and is signing her as the face.
But tell me one thing. I mean, this is a kind of a question that I keep on having with my team at Godrej when we do influencer engagement. I think our trust and faith, while big influencers drive you numbers, give you millions of hits, and that's instant gratification is amazing. But our belief is now moving towards micro influencers. Communities, micro influencers. So what's your take on that? I mean, do you really need to go to these highly charged?
It is. I mean, when we are working with brands, our preference is, can we look for a long-term annual deal? Because I'm also not happy getting an influencer talk about a mobile brand A today and talking about a mobile brand B today. That's completely opposite what we talk at the conferences out there. But as of now, when we are working with brands for the bigger influencers, we are preferring deals, even if it is at a lesser price, to work on an annual deals, where I'm now saying, now you are engaging with us throughout the year. There will be, if possibly not in one Instagram story, possibly not in the first YouTube video, but towards third month, fourth month, she'll be able to influence the audience to go and test
Are
your
clients
product.
willing to wait so much time?
But I think, just to add to that, I think micro-influencers, what you guys are saying is really big. But I think that the market will mature to saying that, I don't want the big names. And my content is strong enough, my story is strong enough that can work with micro-influencers. But I think the big celebrities are the ATL of your world. So it gets the big numbers, but yes, continuity, engagement will only happen at a micro.
I think I can give you a small example around it. So last year, Pepsi reached out to us.
Now it's becoming Republic TV, okay? Yeah.
So sorry. So Pepsi reached out to us last year to rebuild get them back into the music scene. We got our client Badshah, like for you guys, is a mainstream artist. For me, he's still a digital media influencer because that's how we started working with him 7 years back, building him first on digital, and now he enters the mainstream. And we got Badshah to create the track, and the mainstream track obviously came out with Tiger Shroff, Disha, and that became 100 million views, Pepsi spending a lot of money behind it. But at the same time, we engaged a lot of micro-influencers.
Yeah, same for Axe. Did you see the Axe?
I know.
Ayushman Khurrana.
Solus can
so we were chasing your numbers.
I'm getting a message from the very, behind that podium. Time ho gaya. So we honor that. Let's move on to the next question. This is specifically for Ashok. Ashok, as a studio doing premium drama series, what's your view on brand integration? I mean, that's one of the biggest things that authentic integration is quite important, and brands are asking. What's your view on that? I mean, how do you...
Right, so I'll quickly qualify that. While these conversations have been great and about AWOD or social media integrations, what we are now talking about is where content is SWOT, where it's behind a paywall and there's no advertising, so there are no ad rolls. And so how do you integrate out there? We as creators of premium drama content, like I said earlier, we are really open to the idea, and we're looking for those brand visionaries who want to take their brand and place it in an ecosystem where the messaging and the experience is more important than the number of times the 15-second ad or the 30-second ad was viewed. I mean, so as time passes, like again I'm saying, if people are going to sit all night and watch OTT platforms, they are not seeing any ads anyways. So it's like if you have the only sort of advertising media that you have is a 30-second ad, this is a party that you are not being invited to.
Absolutely.
You're not making it there. So you might as well, and it'll probably, right now there's no measurement metric, so you have to be visionaries and go out there and say, let me do the integrations, let it be seamless integrations, let me trust the creative route on it.
Absolutely.
And I think the global examples are there for us. So if you see Suits, every time somebody on the show Suits steps into a car, it's a Lexus. You will not see any other car but Lexus. If you see House of Cards and Apple, these are really smart, high-end integrations. I think closer home here, TVF does a great bunch of things.
Kingfisher, I think that
did,
two beer hair is one of the most iconic integrations, and I hold them in great envy because it takes two to make that happen. It takes a brand manager who is visionary.
Even I think they did a great job with tripling and they even on Ye Meri Family and all these guys, great integrations, nicely put there. So which means that there are marketers who are out there saying that I don't know, I won't get a 3 plus or a 4 plus, I won't get the typical media buyers analysis to cover my ass when I show this report. But I am a visionary and I'm going to put it out there saying, here's my brand.
You feel the pickup is high?
It's wonderfully
It's
there.
picking
Like,
up?
yeah, I'm saying we've made shows like Hostages, Criminal Justice, The Office, and Mind the Malhotras on different platforms. Hotstar, Prime Video, we have shows coming on Netflix. So for example, on The Office, there's always a time when there's a coffee break, people are standing around in the pantry and talking about stuff. Now that coffee machine could be a Starbucks, could be a coffee day, could be whatever. So what is happening is your
You can
brand
put a Godrej
is,
vending machine there.
Absolutely. And Godrej is part of that moment, is part of that experience. And so people are going to see this not just one time. Every time they watch it, that Godrej vending machine is going to be part of that story.
Fantastic. Great answer in terms of integration. Let's shift gears to Sharan, the creator. I think from an Arre perspective, we'd love to hear from you. The thing that we were discussing about co-creation of content, The effectiveness of the content goes up if you're really co-creating it with your fans, your followers, and blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely. So just talk about like exactly what I was talking to him about, Axe. So when Arre and Axe got together with Ayushmann, Khurana and Nezi to create this music video, Ab Teri Bari. Now, Ab Teri Bari was conceived of as a call to action for men, saying not the Gillette, be better men, but Ab Teri Bari is step up and be better versions of men in the form of, in a very Axe way. It's about achievement, but not macho achievement. So lots of messaging was central to the communication. But what really got created after that is when people started coming up with Ab Teri Bari, I won't do this. Ab Teri Bari, to follow my dreams. So then Ab Teri Bari becomes like a much more anthemic phrase than a brand talking to you. You are talking back to the brand, and you are taking that brand statement and creating and having fun with it. So people have done dubsteps with Ab Teri Bari, or people have done dramas with shouting out at each other Ab Teri Bari. So all of that, if all that happens only with co-creation, and otherwise it's just one-way communication, which is pointless.
Siddhartha, you wanted to add something? Your
It's
mic was
actually a
going.
movement, and we've seen that extensively happen. It tends to happen in a viral manner. It again goes back to the content and the storytelling. That is the reason that that's happened. It is the brand can still go and seed a part of this, but for the virality to kick in, the core storytelling or the content type that's being created has to hold its ground and then get a chance to get iconic in play. And that's
Absolutely.
the movement.
And the Axe tagline is actually not Ab Teri Bari. Ab Teri Bari is a call to action which has to be anthemic.
Call to
and
action
a
is
movement.
absolutely
Exactly,
necessary,
yeah.
yes.
You can't make the brand tagline the call to action, which is what most marketing people would first go for.
So, एक interesting analogy. A lot of brands, agencies come to us because we obviously distribute a lot of the music space. कहते हैं यार brand ने गाना बनाया, उसमें ये artist है, इस गाने को बड़ा कर दो यार. तो हम पहले first thing में जब वो आता भी है, he doesn't come with a song because agency वाले को भी brand manager ने गाना नहीं सुनाया. And that is till date the irony. So हम बोलते हैं पहली चीज कि पहले गाना तो सुनाओ. Is it a song that consumers will attach themselves and believe that that's the content? Or you can always go to YouTube, spend money and get the reach that you want.
Absolutely. I think, but clients are maturing. HUL is fabulous. Axe did not make your own rules even once. They did not use the word Axe even once. It's huge.
But that brings more credibility.
Yeah, that's huge. You're saying something of value. You're not putting your brand first. You're putting a value first, which is speaking like a human being speaks to another human being.
Awesome. The last question to Anand from the client. You heard all the agency and the creators. Let's hear the customer. He's paying, right? So, end of the day, netmeds. Anand, you've heard a lot, content creation, blah, 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 blah. The OTT platforms, there's hundreds of. How do you break the clutter? या कैसे choice करते हो कि ये मेरे को ROI देने वाला है या इसमें मेरा ज़्यादा फायदा इसमें ज़्यादा दवाइयाँ बिकेगी? What's your mindset when you select these platforms? How do you break the clutter?
See, for us, the clear differentiator is, there is a quality versus quantity game. You can go in the fine-tuned manner of maybe, let's say, millions of users, and you can be on top of their mind. But as a brand, Netmeds, we are a mass brand. Everybody needs somewhere medicine in their life. Either, you know, somebody in your family you need it. Was it from here?
To shut up. Sorry, yeah, go on, go on.
Why it's happening only with me?
Anyway,
I am the buyer.
enjoy, dance as if nobody's watching.
That's
Bindas,
okay.
go on.
So, yeah, so I mean, for us, the clear differentiation is the reach, because we are a mass brand and we are expecting that, you know, every household should know Netmeds, and hopefully they should order. And you know, one good thing about, you know, storyline is here that the TZ, that actually the one who is buying medicine, they are not consuming it. Because my TZ is from, you know, the main line of the TZ comes from 24 to 35 or 40. And maybe the upper age bucket, maybe they might be using it, but the younger ones are not actually consuming it.
They're buying for
So they are the influencing, either the elder member in the family is influencing them to buy, and they are like little lazy to walk into any store and buy. They say, okay, let me download the app and order it here, and they will deliver at your doorstep. So from the media point of view, you know, the OTT rise has happened, but I think there is a time from the industry point of view, there has to be some measurement metrics
give
for
you
the
an
brand
ROI.
owners to own it and see it, you know, what you are getting out of it.
Absolutely.
And my feedback on that is only one, that it's all happening. You're all walking, there are metrics that are coming in, and the fact is today, the brand manager out there is parking a certain amount of money towards experiences. Now he deploys that into an original piece of content, he deploys it in social, he deploys it wherever. That is already happening because, as she said on Unilever, we also interact with the same guys, and they're absolutely right that if they have a media mix, you will have your TV, you will have your digital, and you will then decide what you want from reach, what you want from brand.
Awesome. So one last, look at his face. Nothing. Yaar, khatam ho gaya. All right. So are there any questions? Do we have time for questions, or they will be emailing them the questions or what?
I'm so sorry about that.
No problem.
Great. Can we have a big round of applause for this amazing panel? And can I please invite Ashish Banka to please come and give the mementos. Sir, please, sir. Can we have the mementos, please?
Barbara Streisand.
Ladies, once more, let's give them a big round of applause.
Barbara Streisand.
Thank you so much, sir.